Hello, welcome back to SixSigmaTV.net. My name is Jeff Gray. I'm a Master Black Belt here at SixSigmaTV.net. And this segment is all about 5S. 5S is a methodology for creating and maintaining an organized, clean, and high-performance workplace. Everything has its place when you do a 5S within your organization. 5S also enables you to easily identify if something's out of place, if something is abnormal in your organization. I'm going to run you through how that works here in a second. The foundation for continuous improvement, zero defects, cost reduction, and a more productive workplace can all be accomplished using this methodology and these tools within the 5S methodology. It's a systematic way to improve the workplace or your processes or your products through high-level employee involvement. All employees in the workplace are involved in your 5S implementation. Now, the benefits of implementing a 5S in your organization is you'll have a cleaner workplace, you'll have a safer workplace. It improves how we feel about your products, processes, company, and your coworkers and yourselves in that organization. It provides a customer showcase. It promotes your business. Product quality improves, especially contamination and errors of process and control, of out-of-control issues. It also increases efficiencies in your organization because you're no longer spending time looking for things, looking for documentation, searching for tools, looking for equipment that's out of place. It helps you be very efficient, and you'll know when things are out of place, and you can find them and become efficient again. Now, the 5S's, this slide here talks about the translation. This originated in Japan, and I can't even pronounce these words, so I'm not even going to try, but I can pronounce the English words, which are sort, store, shine, standardize, and sustain. Those are the 5 steps in your 5S. That's why it's called 5S. In the sort step, we want to remove everything that is unneeded in your organization. Remove the clutter. Remove everything that's unneeded. In the store, we want to arrange everything for the ease of use. In the shine, we want to clean up and have a cleanup campaign. We want to clean up everything, just make it shine. In the standardize, we want to maintain the system. Make sure that everything is standardized and that everything is able to be maintained and put back in its place when we are done. In the sustain step, we want to make sure that the 5S is driven into the DNA and becomes the culture of the company. That's the sustaining part. Everyone is involved, everyone takes turn being a leader, and we sustain the culture in your organization. And you want to remember that the 5S's are a starting point for all your improvement activities. This is something that should be done at the beginning of your Six Sigma and Lean implementation to get rid of the clutter and really see what's going on out there in your process. So doing a 5S within your organization can really help you get started in getting involvement. So the components of 5S, if you see here again, is that in sort, you clearly distinguish needs from unneeded items and eliminate them from your process. You store, also known as simplify or set in order. In some cases, you might have heard those terms. You keep the needed items in the correct place to allow for ease and immediate retrieval. In the shine, you want to keep the workspace orderly and clean. It's constantly keeping it orderly and constantly keeping it clean. And in the standardize, you want to standardize your cleanup. This is a condition where we support when we maintain the first 3 pillars. I'll take you through a little more in depth here in a second. And then we sustain the new operations, the new process, the new procedures, the new way of doing things in that organization. It's also known as self-discipline in some cases. So you want to make a habit of maintaining and establishing the procedures. So here we have a little more in depth, the 5S's, the standards. Actually, a 5S is an event that you do in your organization. You first separate all the needed tools and materials and instructions from those that are not needed. You remove everything from the area that is not needed. You clean house, just like cleaning out your garage. Clean it out. Put everything in its place. You want to store. You want to neatly arrange and identify items Needed for ease of use. You want to put things in a place where you can find them. And they're identified in a location and they're kept there. When you take a screwdriver in your garage off the pegboard, you pull that off, you know it's missing. When you put it back on, you know it's there. If it's missing, uh-oh, where is it? So that's what you want to do. You want to shine. Set a new level of cleanliness. Get rid of all the contaminations. Clean the trash, grease, dirt, etc. Everything must be clean, tidy, and neat. Cleanliness provides a safe work environment, nothing to trip over. It eliminates all of those other potential problems. You want to make sure there's no equipment leaks, there's no loose parts, there's no missing guards on things, there's no loose paper or materials. In Standardize, you want to systematically sort, store, and shine daily. This is a daily thing. When you come in the morning and when you leave in the afternoon, you want to make sure that you have standardized. You want to make sure that things are maintained and that are in perfect condition and have a standard process. And then when you sustain, if you do the first four, this becomes easy. You want to just sustain this and make sure that everyone is following the procedures in the operations on a daily basis. Make it a habit to do this every day. Now in this case study here I'm going to show you, this is an example of a work area in an IT organization. If you notice, it's extremely cluttered. How could anyone get any work done here? There's multiple computers setups in process. There's unnecessary peripherals. There's zip drives. There's a lack of necessary peripherals, printers, monitors, lack of pertinent supplies. If you look up top here, your CDs. And just look, it's overall clutter. If your office looks like that, it's time for 5S. If your organization, your department looks like this, and every cube around your organization or every workstation in your warehouse looks like this, it's time for some improvement. So step one, what you want to do, basically, again, decide on what is needed. You have a definition to sort out necessary and unnecessary items, clean the workplace, and remove all those unneeded items, such as racks, tools, equipment, etc. If you see here why, it removes waste. You have a safer work environment. You also gain space. And it's easier to visualize the process. It's easier to see your spaghetti diagram, easier to see your handoffs and how the process really works for the next steps of process improvement. And here are some things to remember. Start in one area, then sort everything through. You basically discuss and remove everything with everyone. Make sure no one wants to keep it. Don't hoard. Don't hoard things. Make sure you don't just keep it just because. If you don't use it last month, 3 months, 6 months, get rid of it. It's not needed. Put it in a location. If you might need it sometime, put it down the hall in a cupboard, on a rack, something like that, but get it out of the immediate area. Now, items that cannot be removed immediately should be tagged. We'll talk about the red tag here in a second. But if you can't get rid of things immediately, then we'll tag those items. Now, also what you might want to do is in the first step sort, you might want to have an auction. Some people have an auction. They put everything in a big pile, and then the lead or the manager, or you pick a leader, you hold up an item and say, do we need this, yes or no? Can someone use this? If someone says, hey, I've been looking for that, or yeah, I could use that, you make sure it's needed in their step or in their organization, and you have an auction. You have where everyone gets around, and you decide as a group to clean that area out or to give that to someone else if it's actually needed. So implementing sort, you want to identify the potential unneeded items. You want to place red tags on those items that are not needed or you can't get rid of at the moment, big racks and things of that nature. And then you want to evaluate and deal with those unneeded items. Again, have a auction, have a sale, relocate them, give them to a charity, or simply just take them to the dump if they're not needed. A red tag is something that looks simple like this. You want a number, the date that it's tagged, the department it's tagged. You want what kind of category it fits in, the quantity, any value if you're going to resell it, and then where you're going to dispose of the items. So this is really key to have red tags on items that are very visible, and it says this item is not needed in this area, and this is what we're going to do with it. We're going to dispose of it. We're going to move it to a suitable location. Some cases you might decide to leave it exactly where it is, or you move it to another location, and when you're going to do that. You have your item description, and make sure it's nice and visual. Red tags. If you see in this next step here, all the things that need a red tag on them that are going away have been identified in this nice cluttered area. Step 2, you want to store the items. To arrange all necessary items to have in a designated place. Okay, it visually shows what is required or out of place. Things should have a place. I've been in organizations where they have basically put an outline of where the phone goes, of where the stapler goes on their desk, where the picture of the family goes, those kind of things. In some cases, you might want to get to that detail so you know if things are missing. If your stapler's gone when you need it, who took my stapler? I've also seen people put their, tape their name on the bottom so they can find who took it in their organization. So you might want to get to that detail. Everything should have a place and an outline and a visual identificator that you know when something is gone. It makes it more efficient to find items, and it saves time. You're not having to search around and look for things. And so you want to arrange items of items that are needed in a good location where you can identify. Next step is you want to do store. And that's, again, talking about draw a map showing the best location for files, office equipments, and materials based on the frequency of use. Put the printer in a local location where everybody takes the same amount of steps. Put information, standard operating procedures where people can easily get to, and they don't have to walk halfway across the building when others just get out of their desk. Make a place for everything using borders, home addresses, labels, those kind of things. And remember to use what we call the principles of motion economy. Make sure everyone is not having to walk all over the place to find stuff, but we keep body motion to a minimum. And make sure things are put in a properly ergonomically height location for everyone, so they can find that information and find those standard operating procedures. Locate materials so they are easy to pick up, and equipment and those kind of things, especially if the heavier they are, easier it should be. And this next slide talks about the examples. You might have traffic lanes, walkways, put a border around items, label things. They should have a home, an item name, a location, so you know if your stapler is missing, it says right there stapler. So you know that, it's gone, and that's where it goes. So you'll have a location, a home location for that. So here we've looked at the sort in my case study of the IT group. They've taken things, the peripherals that are necessary but not necessary to be all scattered on the desk. They've taken them, and in the left side here, you see they've put them in boxes on a table that's not too far away, that's local for everyone. If you take a look at the bottom right here, look at how clean and tidy the desk is. Now you can get things done. Now you can find things. You can find the phone. You can find the computer monitor, the one that you really need to use, those kind of things. Very simple, but a lot of us don't do this. A lot of us are usually searching, looking through drawers that aren't labeled correctly, looking for things on our desk, on our coworkers' desk that we can't find. If you notice how nice this looks and how neat and how more efficient this is going to be when you do this in your organization. Shine, sweep, and cleanliness. It doesn't necessarily mean sweep the floor. It means sweep with your eyes when you come in every day. Is everything in its place? Is everything clean? You might need to sweep the floor, scrub the floor. That's one thing also. But you want to keep areas clean and on a continuous basis while continually raising the standards. A clean workplace will help with productivity and processes, eliminate the contaminations if you are in an environment where you're in a clean environment. Oxygen mask, medical, those kind of things, you'll need to have that. And keep things clean and sweeping with your eyes also every time you walk down. Shine, determine the shine targets. What are we going to clean? Set a schedule and assign ownerships of tasks to individuals. This is where the team is involved. Everybody has a task. You rotate the leaders, but everyone on the team will have a task when they come in. What are they responsible for? What are they supposed to make sure is in the store and stayed in their proper place? And periodically check your equipment, inspect it, maintenance, do some total productive maintenance. The next slide here, you see we have a housekeeping checklist. Who is going to do what and how often? This helps you keep things in the shine and keeps things clean, keeps things orderly and organized and being efficient. So look at something like this, assign something, someone is supposed to go and check and make sure that everything is in order. If not, they're responsible for putting it in order. So a little checklist like this, and you can rotate their responsibilities, and don't assign this just to one or two people in the organization. Everyone is responsible for something. We don't want to have people sit out. This is a total organization, department-wide operation that everyone needs to be involved with. So if you have too many people, then you have things to look at, double up. Make sure people are teams in, and make sure people are involved. Step 4, standardize. Create a common language. To maintain the workplace at a level which uncovers and makes problems obvious, doing this in a consistent way. So there's some things to remember. And standardize. Create 5S agreements, have visual controls, have item quantity requirements, have housekeeping standards, workplace arrangement methods, document your work processes, document each step along the workplace, document operating procedures and directives, and make sure all of these things are available. If you look at our next slide, we've taken things and put them in a book. The IT department has a standard operating book. You have locations for things with the operating procedures close by where everyone can find. And the last one here is sustain. So remember, implementing sustain, you want to create a 5S audit form and results presentation tool. Make it a structured tool to be used facility-wide. It's like your radar chart. You want to establish periodic audit cycles throughout the whole organization. A minimum of weekly for area supervision, monthly for management, that you just walk around and make sure that everything is in its place. You want participation of management in reviewing and using the sustain checklist. It's not just for some of all the workers. We want to make this in the DNA. It's your beginning step to your Six Sigma implementation and process improvement. So we want everyone involved. It's critical for the success that everyone be involved. Establish a checklist for visitors to review. Remember, with 5S, anyone should be able to discern between normal and abnormal conditions. If I walk in your organization and you've done a 5S, I should be able to walk through there and know when something's out of place and know when everything is in place. Visual management, places for everything, borders, labels. I should be able to know that you've done it and that you're continuing to do it. And then celebrate the improvements. Schedule a time every once in a while to celebrate that we're keeping things together and keeping things moving. And take time each week to brainstorm and implement new improvements or suggestions. So take that time when you're doing your meetings or your Friday afternoon when you're ready to go home. Take a few minutes to say, hey, what can we do next week to make this better and make this improve? If you look at our IT case study, look at the difference there from the before and after. On the left, there's our before. Look at the mess after we've done our red tag, identified things that we need to get rid of. And look at on the right how nice and clean and efficient that looks, and that is for that operator of that IT department. They reduced 75% reduction in the new system setup time. They went from 2 days to 4 hours, obviously because they could find things and everything was in its place. They had a 50% improvement in productivity. They even had a reduced headcount by 1 person by improving ability to find items and reduction of the non-value added activity. They probably had 1 person managing chaos in there, and now they've moved to another job within the organization that's a better job for them. And now they're going to go implement these tools with and improve that organization, and that's how it works, and that's how it stays in the organization and in the department. They had a 12,500 positive cost variance. They found 3 systems, 3 things they didn't even know they had or they had lost. It's one good thing about doing this also is you'll find things that you've been missing and wondering where they are, or might have thought that your coworker had stolen it from you, and you was stuck in a box under your desk. So you'll find things that were missing that are important and that you can still use. And it's a more professional workplace, and you'll have a better attitude. Here's another example of a before in a huge call or back office operation. Just look at the whole department there. Look how cluttered this workstation is. And then they go and do a 5S, And now look. Beautiful. Look how clean and efficient that is. That's what you want to do, is get rid of that clutter. Put things in its place. Get rid of all the pictures and everything off out of your way. Put the phone where it's supposed to be. Get rid of all the junk and all the stacks of documents and papers that you're wondering what's even in there. And you might even have some customer information or applications that are stuck at the bottom that have been there for 6 months, and now you've lost that customer. So think of that also. Have an inbox and an outbox, and do your FIFO. First in, first out. Here's another one in an HR department on the left side here. Very cluttered. Beautiful. Look at the right side. More efficient, although I probably would get rid of that box under the desk unless it's really important. It might just be a footrest for the person, but the top of the desk looks great. And so here's some of your takeaways. 5S is accomplishing by doing the following of all the steps. You can read them. I've gone through these. It increases your employee morale. It's a clean and orderly workplace. You have standard work methods. You have higher productivity. And remember, it's a much better place to work. So go do your 5S's. And if you need any help, give us a call here at sixsigmatv.net. We'll be glad to walk you through. Watch this segment over and over again. Contact us if you need any help. We'll come out and help you run your 5S. I'll also do Kaizen events, which takes 5S a little bit further. So give us a call here at sixsigmatv.net, and we'll talk to you soon.